time out. Let's get on the air and let's clear this out so it's all recorded. So you guys stop talking junk. Y'all full of crap.
Right.
All of you, every one of you, except for my fraternity brother John.
I didn't say a damn word, Vic.
I said except.
Okay, thank you.
He's thinking it though. He's thinking it.
No, time out. No. I said except my fraternity brother John, except when he's like trying to be too nice to Byron. He's like he sides with Byron too much. And Joe's pretty mellow. Joe just sticks to his own thing.
I got things to say. I'm just holding back right now.
All right, good. All right, we're live right now.
What's up, Joe?
Let's get this bad boy started. We got a good crew today, man. Look at this.
Look at Andre down there. He's in his PJs.
You guys should have saw me yesterday. Who's that?
Man, I'm repping my Gladiators. The defunct
dude, I'm cold. I got a blanket on me.
I got the new HVAC unit back in May, so it's nice and toasty warm in here.
All right, well, let's get this started. Listen, let's get going. Hey, all righty. Now we are live out of Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and guests from all over the country. We are hosted by Byron Jones and Victor Arocho, brought to you by the Sportscast. Today is January 13th. A lot of my friends' birthdays. Shout out to my buddy Alex Alonso, Michelle Sisolak, and there's a ton of January birthdays. So everybody, happy birthday to you. We are live. Please subscribe to all your channels on the Sportscast on YouTube, Twitter, Spotify, iTunes. Don't forget on your Apple phone, go to your Purple Podcast. There's a Jersey Boy Sports Talk. You can hear us talking smack every week on Thursday. We have phenomenal guests. And today we got a full house as everybody's all must be fired up about something. Either the firings or their teams got booted or something, but I'm ready to go. And again, don't forget to subscribe, put a like. It'll help us out quite a bit. We're streaming live right now on Facebook. We're streaming live on YouTube every Thursday at 8 p.m. Every Thursday for you particular hosts. Please put it on your calendar. You guys are always welcome on the show. But every time, I don't understand, Byron, it's a year and a half. I still get questions. When's the show?
That's your fault. No, that's your fault. In the summer, it was Wednesdays on summer.
We did it for 3 months because our old friends said they bowl on Thursday nights.
Yep.
So then we switched to give it a shot.
Just like the show. And they kicked us in the butt.
And it was terrible. It was terrible for both Byron. It was terrible for both of us. And we just said, look, we're going to go back to Thursdays. And we went back to Thursdays. And I also like to thank our guest host today because you guys always bring one, get me fired up, and two, you bring a good mix to the show. So, let's remember.
Yeah, I got to break. Wait a minute. Okay, come on. Let's get it. Come on.
Let's get it to the PG. Okay, I miss Tony Cash. All right, so let's go. All right, so I got here. I have it. I just had the wrong date set up. Okay. All right, so the NFC East. We got several things we're going to talk about, and I didn't get a chance to break this down. So Santiago, I'm sorry, but I've been working since 4 a.m. NFC East. We're going to talk about Judge firing, the Jets' next move. We got the National Championship game. We got Wild Card Weekend. Then Byron, man, it must be nice to be retired because I got like so many tests for you today. I don't have enough time to put it on this sheet.
I was bored.
Apparently, because I still got enough, right? So you're gonna have to bring some of that up because I'm not gonna remember it all. All right, so let's get started. Let's start with the NFC East. Everybody knows that we start talking Giants first. So Judge firing. All right, Byron, you're one of the hosts, so go ahead and get started. Yeah.
You know how I'm gonna get started? They suck. There you go.
It's plain and simple. Stay focused on the topic. Judge firing.
That is the topic. They were horrible. What team runs victory formation inside the 5 just because you want to get over? That's what got him fired. And they're gonna go up there that 10-minute rant that he went on about what other the Washington Redskins or whatever he was talking about. That's what got him fired. Who does that?
There were like 47 of those things that happened, seemed like over the last half of the season that you could point to that, things like that. You were like, how can they keep this guy after this?
That's better, Andres. No,
so for 2 years in Denver, no one listens. So
What happened in Denver?
I said that for the last 2 years in Denver under Fangio.
Yeah, he got
Okay.
fired.
Well, let's
He finally
start with
got fired,
Judge.
yeah.
Tell me about Judge. John.
He's probably going to wind up in Denver because we got Pat Trimmer. We might as well take Judge now too.
All right. So Andre.
I think he's going to be a retread, guys. I honestly think, you know, I hate to call it what it is, but you know, he's young. He comes from the Parcells tree.
He comes from the Belichick tree, not
the
Parcells.
Belichick.
yeah.
Don't confuse the coaches.
Sorry. From the Belichick tree. And you know, yeah, you're right. No one from the Belichick tree has actually fired a shot yet. But you know, he's got another shot. If he can go ahead and clean himself up as a coordinator again, he's
never a coordinator. He was a special teams coach.
The same thing.
And
That's not a coordinator.
And he's white, so he's going to get about 7 chances, unlike David
you can't
Culley,
say that.
unlike Culley and Flores.
God, you can't say that.
That is not true. I think Mr. Joe Caparo could say that. He's a white guy. If you said that, I mean, people would say you're complaining about something. He's got a legitimate point, and we're only saying that because but he's not saying, he's saying that because it's good, Joe. I'm not going to talk for you. And then Byron, I'm going to respond to your text. So go ahead, Joe.
Well, no, I'm just saying you know, your reaction says it. Like we've all seen this. The mediocre white coaches get 3, 4, 5, 6 chances where, you know, Flores got 2 years, Culley got 1 year in Houston. He got fired today. So, and you know, it'll be a long time before you see Culley's name mentioned. Flores, at least, I think, is likely to get another job. There's lots of openings this year. I think he'll get one, but I mean, we've seen that. We've all been fans of this league for a long time. We've seen this happen 100 times over.
Okay, and Byron, what did you say? You said you sent me a text. You don't want to say it. You want me to say it?
Go ahead. I want you to say it. That's why I sent it to you. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. You want to see? You want me to say it? All right. So then when Joe says it, why do you freak out? Joe says it. He's
because I would
right?
never
You know,
expect
we're
somebody
not
to
complaining
say
about it, but it's a fact.
It's
First
hard
of
to
all,
hear.
let's talk about Culley real quick. Okay, Culley you stated it, and I agree. First of all, he's old, so him getting
64.
another
No, he's
shot-
not that old.
How old is he?
64. 64.
Oh, I thought it was older for some
No.
reason, but because that's what I thought you said earlier in the season. In the beginning of the season, when we had our podcast, you had said, and I agree. First of all, I hate Houston. Is that he was set up as a, what do you call it? As a sitting duck.
Yeah.
Right? The fall guy, right? He was you predicted him being fired in the beginning of the year.
Yep.
Okay. And he happens to be an African-American coach, right? So why you put an African-American coach in a team that was in shambles to begin with? And then I guess he takes it to get it. At least he has it on his resume. Maybe he gets a shot. I don't know why he would take it, but he did. But you called that at the beginning of the year. That's number one. 58.9% African Americans in the NFL. Okay, the number has grown to 70%, and that was in 2019. Now it's 70% in 2020. NFL assistant coaches are the second highest. The NFL assistant coaches are the second highest. I don't understand. With 29% of them being African Americans.
Oh, probably
Numbers
of the 4 leagues, probably second to the NBA would be, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
NBA
Numbers fall tremendously. Okay, and right now you said every African American coach has been fired,
except for Mike Tomlin is the only one.
Mike Tomlin. Yep.
except for Tom.
Right.
But keep in mind, wait.
Now, besides African American, look it, man. Let's not forget my people and Andre's people. Okay, Ron Rivera still coach, so let's say I like people of color.
Okay, yeah.
Let's stick with people of color.
But
There's a lot of Hispanic coaches out there.
Time out. How long did it take him to honor Tom Flores, man? The man had 3 Super Bowls, and they waited to the poor man's 4 breaths away from the freaking grave to honor that man in the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
Yep. So it's people of color. Let's make sure we be clear. It's just unfortunately, and then African American in the league, there's probably Latins in there too. So I mean, we come from
not many.
We come in milk. We come in espresso and we come in cafe con leche. So anyways,
Cafe ole.
all right, so let's get back to Judge firing. So now I want to go to Joe's point, and you guys may agree or not. Let me agree. First of all, Judge should have been fired. And number one, two, I don't like Belichick coaches. The only one I do like Flores. You know, I do like Flores, and with the last name Flores, I guarantee that brother's got some Latin in them. They ain't no Flores. You know, they. Well, I'm just saying, it's not like McHenry or something. You know, when they're who is it? Give me one of the running backs from the Jets. Shaquille O'Neal. He ain't Irish. Okay, so let's make sure that when there's a Flores, he's got Latin somewhere along the line. Anyways, Judge was a bad pick to begin with. Gettleman was terrible, right? But I'll give you 1 point that gets a chance. I think, and I know I don't want to get off topic, but real quick, that Chargers coach should have been fired. Andres, you and I talked about that. There was no reason that coach should be fired, in my opinion. Now, it's just my opinion. We can talk about it. He should have been fired.
They ain't getting fired though.
But if that was a different, if that was a person of color, they would have fired him.
The GM, I don't even let him on the bus.
I would have fired him.
Let him on the bus.
I would have fired him. There was no reason for that Charger team to be in a position to have to win one game to be in the playoffs. One, and two, that was just terrible coaching, and we'll get back to that one. So Judge firing is a good thing, in my opinion. Gettleman getting out of the way. I think, Byron, you were a little hesitant whether Judge was going to be released or not, right? After Gettleman. You thought Gettleman.
Yeah, the whole problem with that is that, when they get a new GM, he should be able to pick, his guy.
Right.
Judge was not his guy. So that's the only thing. And then, as far as the other thing we were talking about, Gettleman got a chance to retire. They should have fired him, in the middle of the season, the beginning of the season, or whatever. But Jerry Reese, minority GM, they kicked him to the curb, before the season was over. So, Gettleman was a bum. He was awful. They let the guy retire and get his pension or whatever he's going to get. But, good riddance with him.
Well, they I forgot what I was going to say, but Judge firing is good. I think that's an excellent move. I think there's I know what I was going to say. It's just ironic that Judge got fired right after the breaking news of Flores. Maybe that's what spurred Mara to say, geez, if the Dolphins get rid of that coach, how can I stand here and stay with Judge? Because Flores was a shock to me.
Or if you're lucky, it's because he wants Flores to come coach the Giants.
And Flores,
he's the only Belichick coach I would take.
And Flores is a Brooklyn guy, Brooklyn native. He's from New York.
So let's talk about the next move. Who do you think? Throw out a few names that you think should be the next coach. Go ahead, Byron, of the New York Giants.
Leslie Frazier.
Ooh.
I'm not familiar.
He's a little seasoned. He didn't do well, but he's a defensive coach, and they need somebody just to right the ship. And I think Leslie Frazier will be a good guy.
Okay, I barely know him, at least right at this point. But just the fact you said he's a defensive coach, I'm down. Good. Anybody else? Give me get two or three.
Well, I think Bieniemy's going to get a lot of looks from a lot of teams, but the Giants, let's face it, I hate to admit this, but the Giants are still a pretty attractive job. Given the suckiness of the current roster, that's a pretty good job in the NFL. So I think, if they can get an interview with Bieniemy, if they can wait that long, and that's the other, they're sort of in a different position than some teams because they do have to go out and hire that GM first. And, that's going to go a long way towards determining who they actually try and interview.
I like I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, John. Go ahead.
No, I like what Byron said about it. I hadn't even thought about Leslie Frazier, to the truth. My only hang up with Bieniemy, and this goes back to what we've been talking about since the beginning of the season. You're the offense coordinator for Patrick Mahomes. How much coordinating does Patrick Mahomes really need? So and Eric Bieniemy, CU guy, love him to death, really do. National champion, all that stuff. But I still, anyone that comes out as an offense coordinator for the Chiefs that coach Patrick Mahomes, I got to put a question mark next to it because it's kind of like offense coordinator for, Tom Brady, John Elway back in the day when he didn't have an offensive coordinator. It was just him.
Regardless of the talent that he has, he still has to do a good job with it. And you could
I
look at it the other way and say that Mahomes might not be the quarterback he is without the system and without the coaching he's gotten from, I hate to say this, from Andy Reid and Bieniemy.
Yeah, but you also got to think about that. John, what you said, there's some validity to that, right? Because you got talent, right? But you still got to coach talent. Because this is where my argument came yesterday about ownership, right? And I don't want to go back and forth. There's just so much to talk about. But think about it. Bieniemy had to make a switch because Mahomes and that team was getting out of hand.
Yeah.
They were relying on big plays. They were relying on, like, I can get away with throwing it without looking. I can get away with scrambling and throwing it deep downfield, and like Byron said, everyone picked up on what the Bucs did. So the adjustment was had to become from Bieniemy.
Yeah.
Right? He had to tell him to lock him down, stop trying to make these big plays and just go for player. In other words, they were like, we're going to call a play, but you know what? We've been successful that if it doesn't work, we're going to be good downfield, throwing it downfield. And that worked for a while, for a couple of years. But it showed that if you don't go back to the basics, you got a problem.
And once again, I'm not disputing that at all, but it's still one of those things where was Bieniemy before he went to Kansas City?
I think he was with Carolina, right?
Okay.
Hang on, I'll look this up.
Yeah, because
Andres, go ahead, John, finish.
I think he was with Philly, wasn't he?
He was with Colorado, the Vikings in 2010, and from 2006 to 2009, and then in college, Colorado, UCLA, then back to Colorado, and then he's been with Kansas City. He was a running backs coach from 2013 to 2017. He's been the coordinator since 2018.
Hey, we'll see. I could be wrong. He's one of the guys that they're, wanting to talk to in Denver too. So I don't know.
Andre, we haven't heard from Andre yet as the coach.
I got a dark horse, and you guys might not like this name, but I honestly think it's just one of those things. He's due to come out like a roach. Bill O'Brien.
Ooh.
I honestly think he went to the Nick Saban School of Car Wash, where everybody all of a sudden comes nice and shiny. And now all of a sudden, the Jags want to talk to him. The Dolphins want to talk to him.
That doesn't make your case, right?
Yeah.
No.
You should have started with another
want to talk
team
to him.
first. Yeah, but you would never start with the Jags.
Giants want to talk to him. I mean, let's face reality. Let's face reality. He did an above average job with a crap situation in Houston.
Yeah.
Probably the most successful coach they've had in that franchise's sad history.
Since Bump Phillips.
Well, as the only true Giant fan on this channel.
Whoa. Really?
Okay, on that note, Mr.
I had to hit him. I had to hit him.
Where's that other hat?
Yeah, Byron. How many hats you got,
Byron?
Brady's teddy bear. I only got one NFL hat. I have multiple Collins hats.
I told you I chucked Bruce Arians' hat in the commode. I told you that.
Well, listen,
when he did what he did with AB.
And I'm only joking. As Byron and I are fans,
out the doorway.
We need a defensive head coach. That's my, no matter how good I see that's out there, we need a defensive head coach. That's what we've won. Okay. Dallas is they're always going to put on a show and put up points.
Yeah, but
every time the NFC East teams have done well, they've done well with defense. Period.
Yeah, but they also have to make sure, if they go the deeper the coach, if it's what's his name? Patrick Graham's name they threw out there, Leslie Frazier.
Todd Bowles. I'll take Todd Bowles.
Wink
I want a head coach.
More, but they got to make sure that they hire good offensive coordinator.
No, there's no doubt about that,
They
Brian.
have
The only thing I'm saying is that the only I want a head coach that's already a head coach or who was a head coach. The only one that I would take that wasn't would be a Todd Bowles, any one of those winning teams that are defensive coaches. Right?
How about Wade Phillips?
Bowles was a head coach. Well, sort of. Again, it's like
Wade
coaching
Phillips,
the
first of all,
Jags.
is a great
You don't need
defensive
Wade's
coach.
world again.
Yeah, Wade Phillips is a terrible head coach. He's good.
Oh, I know. He was our head coach for a while too. So yeah, I
It's
know.
like Spagnuolo. I wouldn't take Spagnuolo, right?
What? A giant guy, really?
It's not. I know. He was a terrible head coach, dude. He had the
He may be different now. He may have matured. Who knows?
I doubt it.
under who? Bieniemy?
Smith Spagnuolo.
But we need a defensive coach because if you look at the teams other than Dallas that have won, they were defensive teams. Washington made it to the playoffs last year. They made it on their defense, right? Philadelphia's defense played to get them to where they are today. Okay, when the Giants won, they were winning on defense. When you had Eli Manning, it wasn't like we were torching up the league.
Oh, and Mark Hurlick threw out Doug Peterson.
No.
Don't kill the messenger. I'm just
Anything related to Carson Wentz is I don't want nothing to do. He's one notch above Ryan Leaf, and that's bad.
wow.
Wow, that is harsh, Vic.
That
That's
hurt.
really
Yeah.
harsh.
I just think he's not a
What the
winner.
man do to you?
How
Carson
many?
Wentz is terrible. He's terrible.
How many
You know what it is
notches?
to lose to have a Super Bowl one on your backup and then lose a game to the worst team in the league on a game you have to win with a team that was rolling and played bad. I mean, he played bad. He just can't seem to win. He's not a winner. He can't.
How you gonna compare that man to a crackhead?
Well, the only reason I say that is because he's got all the abilities, and so I said one notch above. I didn't say how much the distance was.
How many notches above is Danny Dimes?
That's my guy, man. Leave my guy alone, man.
I would take Danny Dimes, believe it or not, over Carson Wentz.
Your
He's my
guys,
guy.
your
Zach
guy
Wilson
make a
is my
great.
guy.
Your guy
Danny
make a
Dimes, I
great.
want out.
Your guy makes a
Yeah,
great
no.
clipboard holder. That's what he's destined to be in the NFL.
I think he's
my
gone.
guy, man. That's my guy.
So that was my question for you Giant fans is you get rid now that you got rid of Gettleman and Judge.
Yes.
You get rid of Dimes too.
Yes.
Get rid of Danny Jones too.
Yes.
And go with who? Who are you gonna go with?
You can get Drew Lock.
Case Keenum.
Get Drew Lock.
Who? Case Keenum.
Casey Keenum.
Nah.
How about Aaron Rodgers?
No, too high a price.
I would take Aaron Rodgers.
There's
in
no
a
price too high
heartbeat.
for Aaron Rodgers.
Won't
Yeah.
be allowed
You're
to play.
crazy. Huh?
Won't be allowed to play. He'll be
Hey,
like
Mark-
Kyrie
Mark
Irving.
is on
They
the
tell
line.
him that
What's
he
up,
can't
Mark?
play.
Yeah, that is true up in New York.
Oh,
They might
interesting.
do that.
Yeah.
Say that again.
Well, if he's not going to get the shot, he won't be able to play in New York. Although New Jersey may not have that same policy. Those guys can't play because that's a New York City ordinance. I guess I don't. Does
The New York Giants offices are in the state of New York,
but the games are played in New Jersey.
New Jersey.
but your employer is in New York, and
I
you
don't
have
think-
more than 100 employees.
But the sites I think are the issue, not where the employer is located. I think it would entirely be based on where the events are being held, right?
Yeah.
The state of New York
And I'm pretty sure
by
there's
January
offices in Giant Stadium.
31st. The state of New York instituted by January 31st. If you are an employer and you have more than 100 employees, all your employees have to be vaccinated. And they are incorporated in New York. That's why they are the New York Giants.
Interesting.
Even though they operate in New Jersey, their offices are in New York.
I wonder how quickly they could reincorporate in Secaucus or Jersey City or somewhere if they needed to.
Not fast enough.
That would be a tax bill of epic proportions that I don't think they would ever want to end up with, because they got tax incentives for employing New Yorkers.
The Giants probably have the money, but I'm pretty sure the Jets don't. The Jets got nothing.
Woody's got a lot of money.
but not for the Jets.
Yeah. I think that's his tax shelter. It's his loss write-off there.
Speaking of a loss
the key word is loss.
Can we all agree that
The
Ross,
key word is loss.
Hey, last I checked, the Giants had the same crappy record as the Jets. So
Yeah, I know. So we really can't talk too much smack.
Can we all agree that Jeff Ross, the owner of the Dolphins, is the Jeffrey Luria of football?
the
I don't
Michael,
want to win, man.
No.
The New York, where is the New York Giants corporate office? East Rutherford, New Jersey. Where else do you want me to go?
Jets. Where's the Jets? Probably
Let's stick
2
with
floors
him.
below.
Let's
No,
stick
if
with
they're-
Andres. Their corporate office is
They
in
got
Rutherford.
offices in
Their
Giants-
corporate
they got
office is
offices
in East Rutherford.
They got offices next to the NFL offices.
It doesn't matter. I'm telling you, their most of the offices are out of the stadiums. So they're in East Rutherford. I'm looking.
Whatever here.
Where are they? Where's the New York Giants corporate office? Okay, go ahead, Byron.
I just wanted you to, you get ready to start focusing on, something over there. The shiny light is into you.
I just want to make sure where they are in Jersey. So
Who cares? Wherever they at, they still stink.
They stink. All right. So now, what's the next move? Okay, so we have that. Let's talk about some of the coaches. All right, let's get into something a little bit interesting here, and then we'll go here. National championship. Let's go round robin. Andres, you big on the college.
Well, I honestly think it's about time that a former assistant of Saban finally gets one on him.
Oh, why? My idiot coach.
Yeah, whatever, man. Keep it moving.
I honestly think that the dynamic is still going to be the haves and the have-nots. You can't tell me that Alabama is not fully loaded, lock, stock, and barrel for next year. I mean, you saw how many freshmen were playing in that game, and you saw how many sophomores were playing in that game. I mean, they're just lock, stock, ready to grow, and who knows what monstrosity of a quarterback that next guy is. As far as Georgia, I think it's a little different. I think they're going to have the mass exodus because they had 3 super seniors, they had other seniors, they had a much more upperclassmen starting lineup. A lot of their starters were upper crust, upperclassmen. I mean, but the one that I'm really happy for is that quarterback. I mean, to think about it, he grew up 30 miles from the campus. He immortalized the school. That was his dream school. They brought him in as a walk-on. He didn't want to be a walk-on, so he wanted to prove himself. So he went to junior college for 2 years, came back, got a full scholarship, was third on the depth chart, and fought and tooth and nailed all. Some things ended up working his way where some people just weren't working out. Some people got hurt, and he took them to the promised land. I mean, that's just one for the history books.
Just more for that. Byron?
I watched the game, and I was just amazed at, all the 5-star and the 4-star guys, the speed of these guys, man. It was, it's incredible that 2 teams have that much talent, just like they just hoard it all for themselves. And it was, about time that, like you said, that Kirby, finally beat, Saban. But I was just impressed, with, just the kid, like one went down and they just put another one in. They just put another one in and put another one in. And it's just amazing that, what Saban has built down there. You figure, I think he's 70 years old or close to 70 or whatever he is, his age. And it looked like it'll never stop, as long as he's there. They're always going to be in the discussion, as far as, all right, you got Alabama and whoever else, for the next, 4 or 5 years or until he gets tired. But, I'm glad that the kids at Georgia, did their thing and, got one.
Didn't you say you asked a question, who had the more 5-star recruits?
Yeah, it did.
Georgia.
And they said Georgia did.
And Georgia won. And let me tell you, I was nervous because, I just think that Alabama had Georgia's number for the last couple of years. The one thing about that kid Andres, I read up a lot about him, was that the fans were also against him all year. they wanted Daniels in. I mean, he was fighting the fan. Georgia fans are rough. That's South.
The SEC is rough.
And then he also wrote that there was a point where you also got to think about it is that other 5-star recruits are watching and like, look, if I'm a 5-star recruit, I can go there and some other kid can take my position. That's not a 5-star recruit. So there was a lot of stuff going through that young guy's man. So I'm really happy for him, and I'm happy for his father really helped that kid in his career. So I was happy for that. By the way, but for the record, Georgia's entire receiving crew were all freshmen and sophomores. Now their linemen were upperclassmen, but their receivers, all freshmen and sophomores. And they got a couple of quarterbacks, pretty good freshman quarterback coming up. Joe?
They had the number one quarterback in the country last year.
Who?
That's who Daniels is. The number one quarterback in the country, waiting in the cusp.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually personally already kind of getting bored with the college playoff. It seems like it's Alabama and either Clemson or Georgia, every year. At this point, it seems like it's an SEC tournament, and I get enough of the SEC during the regular season, and to have these teams just kind of recycling each other and playing each other again over and over again, it's already getting a little dull to me. I think unless you're going to somehow, I don't know what the solution is. It seems like all the professional leagues are able to establish some kind of parity. I mean, look at the best team in the NFL this year is the Titans, and they came from mediocrity just a couple of years ago. So I think whatever some of these pro leagues are doing to tweak things, maybe now that there's NIL money, we have to have a salary cap in the NCAA too, to flatten things out a little bit and give some other teams a chance to because like you guys said, you look at the talent that these two teams have put together, and it just seems like this year they were head and shoulders above anybody else. I mean, even Michigan, who had a great year, I don't think anybody thought they were going to beat Georgia in that playoff game.
Joe, actually, can I address one last?
But they got a tougher than the salary cap. They got a scholarship cap.
Yeah.
No,
but that's not where the money's coming from. The money's not coming from the schools now. It's coming from Bob's Lawnmowers and Gatorade.
But Joe, what's really happening is, and it's going to get addressed eventually because these coaches are going to start freaking out. Well, they're already freaking out. At one point on January 3rd, there were over 1,100 student athletes that were football players from Division I, whether it was FBS or FCS, on the transfer portal. 1,100. So let's the same way how free agency changed football, professional ranks, it's gonna change the college ranks. Because if you go to a school and the coordinator is putting together a program or a schematic that doesn't help you thrive, why are you going to be stuck there for 4 years? So they're going to have enough people pissing in their ear telling them to transfer. Now, what's going to happen is 30%, only 30% of them are going to find new homes. The other 70%, I'm sad to say, they're going to be kicking rocks.
Well, I've been begging for this for years.
Real quick, Joe, hold on a second. Andre, so are you for the portal or against the portal? You think that portal will give the parity? You think that the portal will give the parity that Joe was talking about?
I am for the portal because as a person who had to go into homes and recruit a kid, and then all of a sudden, the following year, I'm gone. Well, that relationship is now severed. And you guys say, well, he should have a commitment to the institution. That institution don't give a damn about that kid.
Exactly. I am all for those kids being able to go, and that's what happened this year. The NCAA finally got rid of the rule that says you have to sit out a year when you transfer. So now all these students, unless you're, I guess there's one limitation to it, but most kids won't have to
transfer once without waiting.
That's what it is.
If you are a grad, and then if you transfer a second time, you must be a graduate to not wait or move down in division. In other words, from FBS to FCS.
And I, like I said, I am all for these kids being able to do what is best for them, because like Andre said, the institutions don't give a crap about that kid. All they care about is that the revenue that's coming in from this playoff. So I was going to throw another question out there, is there were a lot of players who didn't play in their bowl games this year. And I was going to ask how y'all felt about that.
Well,
All I gotta say is
John,
let
let John address the Alabama Georgia game.
Okay, go ahead, John.
Oh no, I was just gonna, I like watching football games, especially when I have no dog in the fight. And hey, congrats, Georgia. Love the team. Always have been like not a fan, but like the team. Bama's gonna be Bama. As long as they're gonna be who they are. And you're gonna see a lot of the players gonna be drafted coming up in April, or is March or April this year. They're going to be from those two schools. So I think a lot of good players, they're always loaded. And I don't think Alabama's going to be out of the national championship hunt or talk anyway for quite a while. That's all I'm going to say.
I'd like to make one comment on, Joe, the only thing I think that one of the things they need to adjust to help is I'm still not convinced on the polling of the top 25.
Yeah.
Right. I think that one, they probably have to expand to 8, because you saw when they expanded to 4, it was embarrassing. Those two other teams shouldn't have even been there. And then the sad part, the reason why I'm saying the polling is, how is Notre Dame number 5? Notre Dame should have been number 5, ranked number 5 in the country. And was lost to Florida State at the beginning of the year.
Who's better than them?
Yes, I don't
Okay,
know.
gentlemen.
It's still Notre
as a
Dame.
guy-
Notre Dame's like the Dallas of college football, right? They're
Yeah.
just going to put them. They want them in there.
I mean,
Right?
so you can take
So
all
I
the
just
poll.
they got to do a better job of the polling to give these teams a shot, because look, A&M beat Fisher. That how I feel about him. He beat Alabama. They were both one losses. Georgia lost to Alabama. Alabama lost to A&M. So you don't know if that can happen in a bowl. Right?
I don't think you can do. I don't think the polls can really be improved. I think the polls are what they are. If you're going to do anything, if you want to replace them with some more computer rankings, but even those are just complex polls written by a programmer. Written by a stat geek programmer.
Guys, you're telling me that the FCS program has it wrong. A conference champion goes to the playoff. So you're telling me we have remember, it's the group of 5 and the power 5. You got 10 conferences. You're telling me we can't come up with 10 champions and find another 6 jokers who belong in that playoff?
Or have two at-large teams in the top 4 get a bye.
Yeah.
You get a bye.
The FCS has how many people? 16-team playoff, or a 12-team playoff, and the top 4 get a bye, something like that. But you're telling me FCS has it, D2 has it, D3 has it, NAIA has it, JUCO has it,
College basketball has it.
Sisters of the Poor have it.
It comes down to money.
Money.
It comes down to money.
The college basketball.
By the way, that's the
is
other
the
thing.
most.
Byron, how many bowls did
The
they have?
ratings are going down.
How many
The
bowls
ratings
did they
are
have?
going
Byron?
down.
How many?
But
How many bowl games did they have?
345 this year.
No,
There were
now.
41.
Like 40 something.
41. They had to go.
I think that's another thing that's watering down. These
They
kids are
had
like, oh,
20.
okay, at least I'll be in a bowl game, right? If you limit the bowl game, they're gonna have to go to teams that can play. They get a chance to go to the bowl.
And the thing, these bowl games are held 4 or 5 weeks after some of these seasons are over. Those kids should be on to bigger and better things by then, and not having to worry about flying to Tucson so the Poulan Weed Eater Company can make $300,000.
Guys, a bowl game now is celebrating mediocrity. When I played football, I had to win at least 8 or 9 games to go to a playoff game, to a bowl game. Now 6 and 6 is quality.
Rutgers was
Some
4 and
guys
7.
won 10 and didn't go to a play.
Rutgers won 4 and went to a bowl game.
Yep.
4 games.
They had a losing record and went to a bowl game.
Yep.
Yeah.
They went to the Tidy Bowl.
And got sanded.
Tampon bowl.
Hey, they got to go to Florida. But I mean, the bowl games again, they're becoming more irrelevant. I guess less relevant would be the correct term, but they're becoming less relevant because all these players aren't playing. You know, if you're an NFL prospect, why the hell would you play in a January bowl game that will do nothing for your draft position except potentially expose you to a blown ACL?
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm going to call some people out here. All those talking heads that talk crap about those kids that sat out. Look at what happened to poor Corral over at Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Now nobody wants to draft that kid right now, and that kid was playing in the Weed Eater Bowl or whatnot, the Little Sisters of the Poor Bowl. But no, God forbid he sit out a bowl game. Where they're going to try to kill him.
Let's move on.
I mean,
guys.
come on.
We can go. We can
Sorry,
have a whole show.
I can go on and on about college.
We should probably have a show on college football, right?
No.
And then we'll go.
My friends will eviscerate me.
You want to hear me and Andres yell for an hour? Let's do that.
Right,
Yeah.
So let's get on here. All right. So now, all right, Byron, you brought up some other pieces. We want to talk about the wild card weekend predictions. Right. We're going to talk about. You have here Buffalo Bills assistant GM. Adrian Wilson, Cardinals VP of Pro.
For the Giants, that was another time.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the two that they did yesterday, and then they did two more today.
Okay. So, man, a lot of vacancies. Where do you think Harbaugh? You think Jim Harbaugh is going to leave Michigan, come to the NFL?
Nah. Unless they give him the keys to the castle, that'll be the only way. But he ain't going nowhere. He's got it great up in Michigan.
He's coaching.
He was on the skirt. He was on the skits of Michigan 2 years ago.
What?
He only beat Ohio State once.
Okay, well, he beat him once. He's good now.
Yeah, he also has like
Michigan State.
He has like a 90% graduation rate, man. I keep him around as long as he wants to stay.
90%. Wow.
That's incredible. That athletic director, guys. The athletic director was his roommate in college. The guy who had the locker right next to him. That dude's not gonna get rid of his best friend unless he goes 0-11.
Well, but we'll see it, man. I mean, if the Raiders offer him $12 million a year,
yeah,
he wants to get back. I'm telling you, Harbaugh wants to get back into the NFL.
Why?
Because I think he was done wrong by 49ers. And I think that he wants to get back into the NFL. I mean, he's an NFL coach.
You think that overrides his loyalty to his alma mater? I think he was on the hot seat last 2 years, 2 years ago in Michigan. He was do or die. I mean, he was, you may say he doesn't want to get rid of his best friend and this and that. It doesn't work in that Midwest like that, man. Yeah. It's almost like you can lose, but you can't lose to Ohio State. I mean, that's the bottom line. And you shouldn't be losing to Michigan State. And it's the boosters.
Two games you cannot lose to.
Yeah.
And it's the boosters that run those programs at places like Michigan and Texas and Alabama. Yeah.
And I think you got a point when you said there, if the Raiders back a truck up to his house, he'll jump. I think that if he goes, he'll probably wind up in Las Vegas because Al's fat butt kid is desperate to find anyone that can take over that team.
And they like making big hires too. They like spending a lot of money and hiring big names. Yeah. Although it didn't quite work out so great for him last time. We'll see.
No.
Let's not go into that.
Job. I still say that's a hatchet job.
I half agree with you. I think there's definitely other emails that say the same things in that pile. I'm not going to say that they shouldn't have let these out because they didn't let all of them out.
Yeah. Well, he said something about Goodell. That's what got him, because
I think so too.
About Goodell, that's what they released. I'm sure it's a whole bunch of other people out there that probably said the same thing, but he just didn't like what John Gruden did.
Somewhere I hope there's a reporter that has access to every one of these emails and has taken the time to go through them one by one. And I'm really hoping we hear something more about someone else. Because like I said, I agree. There's no way he was the only person to make such comments in that giant pile of emails.
Trust me, someone this offseason is going to hire the guy who got WikiLeaks going to go after these NFL emails.
That's that's where
Yes, can you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's where Jeff Bezos should be spending his money instead of trying to get to Mars.
Yeah. You can give me
Let's see
some.
what happens. Let's get to the playoffs here. What do we got? All right. So let's start with the Chiefs and the Steelers.
Chiefs.
That's easy.
Andre,
Steelers.
I need scores. Give me scores.
I say 14-7.
Wow.
Yeah, Pittsburgh doesn't belong in the playoffs, though. This will be a 20-point game.
Yeah. I'm with Joe.
I'm taking the Chiefs at least by 14.
Yeah.
Bills, Patriots. Byron.
Ooh, Bills. I don't think Mac Jones is ready for the light.
Score.
2017.
John.
I'm gonna just to go the exact opposite. I think this is Mac Jones' coming out party. I think he is going to rise to the occasion, but it's going to be 2013 Bills.
Joe?
I mean Pates.
This is my lock of the week. The Patriots win this one. It'll be close, but the Patriots are going to win this game, and the Patriots are going to go to the Super Bowl.
Wow. Okay, we're gonna keep going. All right, we got 2-1. Andre.
I second that motion, but I think it's going to turn into the laughing stock that it was last time, where the Patriots are just going to tell Mac Jones, "Don't you dare throw the ball, just hand it off."
Can you imagine he threw the ball 7 times?
It's gonna be
He threw the ball 7
degrees
times
in
and
the
had
game.
more yards than the Giants did. And negative
It'll
7.
be 12 degrees at game time.
Okay, so I guess I'm with Byron. I'm taking the Bills. I think you're playing at the Bills. I think the Bills are playing good football right now. And I'm going to say the same thing I said yesterday. They spoke with Josh Allen and they said, look, no more messing around. When in doubt, run the ball. He's a lot better runner than I thought he was.
You guys are both very intelligent gentlemen, but picking against Bill Belichick in the playoffs is dumb.
All right,
that is dumb.
Okay, so
I've done it several times and I've won.
The fact that you said that you better be on this show next week, so because I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna have you have Dumbo ears on because you're going down.
Wow.
I am telling you, it is hard to win in Buffalo. And Belichick got
It's gonna be 12
smoked by the
degrees. You don't have a
Giants. He
running
got smoked by a coach, got fired.
Last time I checked, the Patriots were also a cold weather team. I mean, I think it'd be different if this was Miami coming to Buffalo, but New England knows how to play in the cold.
Yeah, but this
Not only that,
Buffalo
New
cold
England
ain't
can't
New
run.
England cold, bro.
We're not talking about a bunch of soft Floridians here.
I
We're talking
understand.
about
that, but this
That's you, Victor.
New England
That's you,
cold.
Victor.
New England cold is not the same as Buffalo cold. This ain't. You're talking about Canada.
No, man, you ain't been in the cold in 30 years, man. So stop it.
Yeah, really.
Listen, I know how to fly to go skiing. Don't tell me I know how to.
Yeah, okay. You gonna want to start get your hot cocoa.
Yeah, could you catch a ball in New England in January? My question.
I would like to see that
Am I catch a ball? Yeah, I'll catch a ball. Shoot.
in January.
Watch him better than most of these guys out there dropping.
That's
them.
nice.
Oh boy.
All right, let's go. Bengals, Raiders. Joe.
I as much as I want to say that the Raiders don't belong in the playoffs, they're tough. This is gonna be another good game, but I really like Burrow, man, and Chase is explosive. He's kind of the surprise of the year, so I'm gonna go with Cincinnati here. But this would be another good game. I figure this would be a 4 or 5 point game.
Andre.
I think it's going to be a blowout. I honestly think they're going to just go ahead and open up the playbook. They rested Joe. They rested most of that offense for that last game of the season. I think they're just going to open up the playbook and say, "Have at it." The Bengals all the way.
Byron's.
Blowout, Bengals. Not even close.
John.
Blow out Bengals.
I want to go blow out Bengals too. I think that the Raiders got lucky, and I just think I think Derek Carr was happy just making the playoffs.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. Bucks and Eagles. Byron, I'm letting you go first.
Man, come on. Fly, Eagles, fly. There you go. Eagles. Eagles in an upset.
You know why he beat Stevie, right? It's because they're playing the Bucks. If they were playing anybody else, he wouldn't pick the Eagles.
I'm fly, Eagles fly. Come on, man.
Okay, so if the Eagles were playing Cowboys, who'd you pick?
The Eagles.
Cowboys were playing the Rams or the Cardinals, who'd you pick?
The what?
Rams or the Cardinals, who would you pick?
Rams.
If they were playing the Rams, if they were playing the 49ers, who would you pick?
Oh, geez, man, let it go, man. Come on.
I just know you. I know how you are.
Eagles. Come on, man.
All right, I'm gonna let it go. All right, John, who you picking? Eagles,
Okay,
Bucks.
I've said about I've told you guys stories all the time about my neighbor. Suicide watch if the Eagles lose. So I want the Eagles to win because I like my neighbor. All right, I really do. Good guy, sweet guy, and everything. However, that being said, Bucks by at least 14.
Oh,
Andre.
Just get the straight jacket already, man.
Andre.
That's what I'm saying. Just get the straight jacket already because the Bucks are gonna take it home.
I know they are. I'm not doubting it.
Yeah. I sort of feel bad for Homer Byron here because this is not going to be close. This is going to be ugly. And if we want to skip forward ahead a little bit too, the Bucks are my choice to make the Super Bowl, and I can't wait to see the Bucks Patriots matchup. But yeah, Tampa by at least a couple of touchdowns.
Well, I believe they're going to win by more than 14 points. The Bucks are going to win. I think the Bucks are going to go to the Super Bowl. I don't think the Patriots are going to make it out of the first round, but that's it. All right, so Cowboys, 49ers. I'm going to go on this one. I'm picking the 49ers. The 49ers, their average rushing yards like 127. 100. Yeah, 127. And the Dallas Cowboys rush defense isn't doing too well.
Guys are both kind of showing your colors a little too much here. I don't, as much as I like to root against the Cowboys, I don't see San Francisco winning this game.
Okay.
I gotta agree with Joe. There's no way. I would, and now I want the Niners to win. Don't get me wrong. It's like I want the Eagles to win, but you know, that logical part of your brain kicks in and said, yeah, no, it's going to be in the later rounds. They're going to lose.
Byron?
The 49ers are going to out-physical the Cowboys. I'm going with the Niners.
I mean, Byron on the same page, baby.
That's weird.
That's a first.
Because he just purposely likes
Before you know it, they're both going out together to go buy spandex.
At least I can fit them.
Whoa! I can fit. Whoa! I can fit. It just doesn't look attractive.
I could wear a spandex hat or gloves, maybe.
Byron, you bleeding from that one? That one looked like it's staying a little bit.
I didn't mean to. Actually, I take that back. I don't mean that I can fit them. It's just that it's a lot more spandex for Byron.
Whoa! It's too late to clean it up.
Yep.
I apologize.
Too late.
I love you. Well, between you and Andres and spandex, I got to see that. Go ahead. Who else? Who picked? Everybody picked?
Oh, I didn't pick.
Andres.
Go, Andre.
The Cowgirls are going to win.
Really? So everybody other than me and Byron are picking. Interesting.
Because you guys are Giants fans.
And we all picked Tampa again.
The
you guys.
deal is, I just think that the Niners, if they play that bully rough, they're gonna just beat them up on the run.
But Jimmy Garoppolo will find a way to ruin it.
He's played pretty good last game.
And Vic, I hope you're right. I hope they beat Dallas. I really do. I want to be wrong here, but ain't gonna happen.
All right. You got the Rams and Cardinals. Let's go, Andre.
I actually think the Cardinals are going to squeak this one out.
Okay, Joe.
I don't know why. I don't know how. I just think it's gotten to the point where the Rams are starting to get predictable on offense. Everything's about OBJ.
I mean, these teams are super evenly matched. They're kind of almost mirrors of each other, right? So when I try to pick these games, I look at which coach do I trust in the fourth quarter. and there, you got McVay and Kingsbury. So I think I'm going to go with the Rams, but with minimal confidence. This would probably be the best first round matchup on the NFC side.
Correct me if I'm wrong, gentlemen. This is Kingsbury's second year as a head coach.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I can we admit now that he was legit.
No.
Really?
I you know what? I covered him. I was at grad school at Texas and covered him at Texas Tech, and wasn't that impressed with him then. Thought it was a weird hire. I mean, I guess they made the playoffs, but I still see this team as underperforming. I don't know if that's fair to him or not. Might be just anti-Kingsbury bias, but
yeah.
I honestly think he
Byron
at Texas Tech, but
Byron, we got.
Well, let's see. Stafford's going to go back to being Stafford as far as Detroit Lion days. He's going to lose the game for him. He's going to throw 2-3 interceptions. Marcus Golden's going to get after him, and Chandler Jones. And I'm picking the Cardinals.
John.
Cards. I think Kyler Murray's going to run under a bunch of people and win the game. No, but in all seriousness, I look at the Rams defense. It's stacked, but I think that the Cardinals can handle it. I really do.
I'm going with the Rams. I think Stafford's time has come. I think their talent on defense is between Von Miller, they got Arnold, they got Jalen Ramsey's back, and Cooper Kupp. That kid is incredible. Let me tell you something. This is the first time in a long time that I saw a receiver. So we're seeing a lot of it in tight ends, and we're seeing a lot of it in running backs. But I've seen him over several times get extra yardage by bullying off the defensive backs. And I haven't seen that a lot in receivers before. Literally pushing and spinning and pushing and getting extra yards, right? You see that in tight ends. You see that in running backs now. I haven't seen that. Cooper Kupp is something special. And again, I go back to, Byron, we should talk a little bit if we get a chance to talk about Odell Beckham. I think Odell Beckham. Now you know how to come to you on Odell Beckham. You know I was going
Here we go to Bell.
Oh, come on now. No, Bell. You can chow bell that thing because I can just, mute everybody. Here's the deal. I think Odell Beckham, look at the touches. I told you, he's 25%. He's got 25% targeted than he has been targeted in 3 years over in the Bengals, man. I told you, got to throw him the ball. And you got Cooper Kupp is a problem. Okay. He's got 5 touchdowns. He's got 5.
He's a has-been. Let it go, man. Odell's playing. Let it go, man. Let it go.
Cleveland was a bad fit. Joe, what do you think about Odell Beckham?
Let it go, man.
Man, you can't call this guy has been. You look at what he's done. Maybe you could call him a has been 6 or 8 weeks ago. And I'm just pulling up his game log right here, but he's back in it. 8 catches, 4 catches, 5 catches. He's an NFL player again.
Look how many times he's targeted.
He's got
46 times.
Here goes now we got an OBJ
in 8 games.
Fest.
Look how many times he was targeted in 3 years at Cleveland. 200 and something.
Are we going to
be targeted in 8 games? 25% of the time.
Let it go, man. How many rings?
Why am I letting go?
How many rings does he have?
What's got to do with rings? It's just
how many rings
can play.
How many rings does he have?
Joe, answer the question, Joe.
He's 29 years old. How many rings do you have? How many rings do I have? Rings are tough to get. Dan Marino has no rings.
Takes a whole team.
I'm.
No, but what are the numbers? What are his numbers? He's got 5 touchdowns in 8 games.
Oh man, let it go, man. Oh, he's love fest.
He's part of the offense, which is it's an accomplishment for him considering where his year started, right?
Learning a new system.
It's tough to jump into a new NFL system in the middle of the year. You're totally right, Vic. Vic, this is the first time you and I have agreed in an hour.
All right, well, good. Then I know the numbers. He's playing good football.
Give the man. I understand Byron's, antipathy.
Why don't you like him, Byron?
Because when the Giants went to
There we go.
playoffs, what did he do? Nothing. So guess what? He has no proven track record in the playoffs. Anybody could put up big numbers during the season, but it's when it counts.
But my issue isn't the playoffs. My issue wasn't the playoffs, Byron. Maybe that's where you're misunderstanding me. My issue was Cleveland. And when he first went to Cleveland, I had an issue that I thought he was going to be a problematic guy. Like,
where's he now? Where is he now?
Time out. I thought it was going to be.
No. Where is he now, though? Where is he now?
Oh man,
What is
the
he
whole
now?
issue is about whether he's got talent or not. The guy's got talent. He went to a team that they're throwing him the ball. He's got 5 touchdowns in 8 games. He's been targeted 25% of the time in 8 games compared to 3 years with Cleveland. And he's putting up decent numbers. What's his average numbers, Joe?
Well, here, answer this question since you're in full love with OBJ. Is he the
I'm
best?
loving the
Yes.
athlete.
Is he the best receiver on his team?
No.
Okay,
He doesn't have to be.
That answers my
Possible.
question.
How can he be? He's gonna come in mid-season. Cooper Kupp is a bona fide superstar. He's not gonna just come in and take his numbers.
Is he the best receiver on the team?
No, but he doesn't have to be. He can be the 3rd best receiver on that team.
All right, but look at last year where you were definitely wrong when I said to you, we had Evans and Godwin on the Bucks, right? And I said Antonio Brown, once he starts coming around, he's going to be a major factor in their Super Bowl run. Ugh. And who was a major factor in the Super Bowl run? Antonio Brown. They had Mike Evans. They had Godwin.
What did AB do this year? He imploded, skipped out the stadium.
Oh my God!
And that. Let it go, man. Let that stuff go, man. Let it go, man.
You got any comments, Andres, on Odell?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why the guy doesn't have any rings, but it's all good,
No, about his rings, about his play.
He doesn't have any rings because he has no rings because he played for the Browns. That's why he has no rings. He's been a Brown for 6 years.
And the
all
Giants.
this infatuation for rings and everything, I just don't see.
Forget about rings. I'm just talking about his play as a receiver going to a team and he's only playing 8 games, and you're hearing way more of him. And look at his production, his numbers compared to 3 years in the Cleveland Browns when they thought Baker Mayfield was the savior.
The scheme plays to his strengths. And that's what it's about. Sometimes we talked about it earlier. We kind of touched this earlier in the subject. Sometimes a player does better in certain schemes, and the coordinator knows how to utilize the scheme to a player's strengths. It's not that he was not targeted enough in Cleveland. They just didn't know how to utilize him enough in Cleveland. They didn't know how to utilize him correctly.
He wasn't targeted.
Look, targeting. If all you're going to go is by targeting, then we should go. We should start awarding Golden Slugger to the guy. The triple count to the slugger percentage instead of the batting average in baseball. The targeting is just one aspect of it. Another thing, hey, I could have a guy run go routes all day just to tire the DBs. At the end of the day, it's not so much the targeting, it's how many opportunities are we giving that guy under the current scheme.
And some players will thrive under different schemes. And just like that, if you want to take it to a philosophical level, some players thrive under certain types of coaching. And, that's maybe the Joe Judge style is out now. And, it's obvious that Odell likes playing for Sean McVay and didn't so much like playing in New York or Cleveland. So a lot of that has to do with the culture that the coaches establish. So I think that's part of it too.
Man, I'm in shock. I'm in shock from all of you. I can't.
I didn't say anything, man.
I cannot fathom that you cannot. You cannot add to the mix.
You fell in
that a superstar player that is paid big dollars, and you can't factor in the fact that he's not targeted. Every player, every tight end, everything they got. It's like a running back. He's got to get his touches. A receiver's got to get targeted, period. You got to, I don't care what scheme you're in, you give him a sweep, give him a slant, give him something, but you got to throw the ball. When he went to Cleveland, his first 6 games, they threw the ball to him at 7 times.
You just love what
So I don't understand how any of you can say that a superstar receiver that's not at least targeted is not a factor in his ability to be able to perform.
Well, and be happy too, and especially receivers in the NFL now, they want the ball 15 times a game.
Yeah,
Look what his average in Cleveland was. It was terrible.
Are you finished?
6,
Are you finished?
Yeah, 6. He got 6 targets a game last year, but he was also hurt half the year. Year before that, he got about 8.5 in Cleveland in 2019.
Year before that.
The year before that, he was with the Giants. He got 10, about 10,
so he was
a little more
only
than
with
10
for 3 years. That's my point.
2.5 years, and he got 133 targets in 15 games, 43 targets in 7 games, 34 targets in 6 games. So definitely the last 2 years, his usage is way down. But there's more to it than just targeting, but targeting is a big part of it. Everybody's right. How about that?
All right,
Hey, how about this? The guy also came off of injury this year, didn't he?
Right. Yeah, he played half the year last year.
But Victor just in love with OBJ.
You
I'm
can't
not,
get targeted.
why do you say I'm in love with OJ? I'm just happy for the athlete.
You were beating it up by the
I'm
hand
happy for an
yesterday.
athlete that I think is good.
He's happy
Dude,
on the
you don't pay a guy
USS
that kind of money not to use him.
You were beating us upside the head yesterday. You had it OBJ.
He's not getting chump change.
Oh, geez. My
I
stomach
think
hurts.
he's happy on the USS Lollipop.
Whatever. All right, we'll go from there. All right, so let's go. Rodgers, who do you think is going to be MVP this year?
I don't think they're going to give it to him.
Oh, Rodgers, who do you think is going to get MVP?
I honestly think they won't give it to Rodgers. I think it's going to be one of those things that people are upset that he lied.
Who's going to get it then?
Brady.
Andre?
I think Brady. Yeah, Brady at this point.
Joe?
Yeah, as much as I hate to admit it, because you all know how I feel about the overrating of Tom Brady, but he's gonna win it.
That's gotta hurt. This is all gotta hurt Byron. Byron?
No, I ain't gonna say that, man. Jonathan Taylor, man, running back.
That'd be great.
That's why I made him go last, because I knew, boy, you guys think Brady
He did have his cold. And
he's
a Jersey guy.
He's not gonna say it.
Nope.
But Andre, what were you telling me about his age and the touchdowns?
So the man is 44 years old, and yet he passed 45 touchdowns. That's nuts.
Tell us a story about
So check this out.
About Gronk.
He stayed on. So he stayed on, and it was like mic'd up somehow on NFL Films, where he told Gronk, "Don't worry, you're gonna get your milli," and he made sure Gronk got the extra 2 touchdowns in that game to get his $1 million bonus.
And who's the other guy?
Oh, and then the running back, whoever the running back was, they he goes, "No, let's make sure he gets his too." How many yards he needs? Let's hope he gets it. Let's put him in a situation to get it.
Yeah, so did that have anything to do with Antonio Brown? It's just really hard for me to separate those two things.
No,
because Brown supposedly was mad because he wasn't getting the targets he needed to get his $1 million incentives.
He's full of crap.
No.
He was so close to getting $1 million. He was stupid to leave. Brady made sure he got us $250,000 last year. Brady did it for him already.
Understand this. AB was 12 snaps away from a $200,000 bonus. 12 snaps away.
Well, and he was like 54 yards from his yardage bonus and 1 touchdown away from that one. And I think 3 catches away from that one. I mean, it seemed like he was going to hit both those pretty even.
You're not dealing with a sane person. You're not dealing with a sane person. That's all I got to say.
Well, so I'm just trying to see, I'm looking at his targeting. Yeah, no, he was getting 6, 8, 11 targets a game before that. And I agree. And I think that's one thing, like we've had these conversations about Naomi Osaka and her mental health and, who's the gymnast, Simone Biles in the Olympics last year. But it's pretty clear that Antonio Brown is a man in need of some help. But that's not been, I haven't seen that part of anybody's conversation.
All right, here, let's see what we got.
How could it be part of the conversation when he keeps going ahead and pointing fingers at everyone else?
Everybody.
I mean, one of the adults in the room has to step in. There's got to be somebody in that franchise
The
who
one who did,
Listen up, guys.
threw under the bus.
Yeah. If I don't get the 7th catch, I have to go get a real job.
All we got to see is Gronkowski get his catch here.
What does that mean? Cha-ching. Gronkowski has his catch bonus.
Tom, good pass, dog. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, dog.
You just got a millie?
Yeah, I got a
You
millie.
just got a millie?
Oh, I got a millie. We going. Where we going?
To the city.
Yeah, we
With my
going
millie.
today. We
In
going
the
to the city.
In
With
the
my
city.
millie.
Come on, guys, that's pretty good.
So if Gronkowski did have to go get a real job, what could he do? Be a bouncer, I guess.
No, he was a spokesman for hold on a second. He was a
USAA.
spokesman for CBD.
Oof. I don't know if you want the guy who
USAA, man.
you want the guy who clearly has brain damage being the spokesperson for anything. I don't know. It seems a little
No,
I think Snoop's a better spokesman for it.
CBD helps you with that.
He could be the perfect cop, man. He'd be a big old giant New Jersey state trooper. There you go.
oof.
The dude's got a lot
Actually-
of commercials, man. He's doing
Actually,
pretty
on
good.
the real, he's actually raking it in on endorsements in Tampa. But the TB12 production company is doing all the filming. So for those who are out of the loop, TB12 is Tom Brady's production company. They're filming all the commercials of Gronk endorsing restaurants, endorsing nightclubs, endorsing these, heck, there's like 9 different commercials going on in the Tampa Bay area with Gronk on it.
And he probably gets like appearance fees, right? And this is Tampa, right?
Well, that's-
and by the way, Byron, where does TB12 production get the money from?
Just
Mons
so.
Venus.
Oh, that's awesome.
He does seem perfectly culturally suited for Tampa. Gronk does seems like the great fit.
Yeah,
I bet he never has to pay a dime when he goes to Mons Venus.
Man, let me tell you something. You know what it is just to get $1 million in one game after that catch. I mean, but Gronk, if we look at the numbers for Antonio Brown, I forgot what it was. I mean, he was close. I mean, he was so close to his $1 million. I mean, he was going to get it, and his incentives.
But he wanted it
I
at the
think he
beginning of
needed
the
one
game.
touch. He needed 1 or 2 touchdowns. And
He needed one touchdown, like 3 or 4 catches, I think, and 50-something yards.
And
And he
12
threw it
plays.
right out the window.
And 12 plays, guys. 12 plays of participation is what someone was saying the other day. 12 plays.
And he flushed it right down the commode.
Well, and he
didn't want to be the decoy.
And he had 13 targets against Philly and 15 against Carolina the 2 weeks before that Jets game. And he had 5 targets, 3 catches in that game so far. So, yeah, I agree.
I mean, he was close, so it wasn't an issue. And Brady is known to get his guys their money.
Well, okay, so now knowing that wasn't the issue, then you can point to the ankle, which seems to be, and if you the more I look at that, the more it's on Arians. And man, I said this on our show last week. Under every circumstance, if a player tells their coach, "I'm hurt, I can't go," there's one legitimate response to that, and that's okay. whether or not it had been the trainers knew about it the day before, whether or not, if a player says in that moment, my body can't go, whether or not that player is a nutcase or not, you've got to listen to that player in that moment. And Arians handled that terribly.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Joe.
I
He
want
was
Byron
hot
to
and
answer that because
dancing
Byron
all the way to the
doesn't hate
locker
it, doesn't like him anymore.
Being able to run out of the stadium,
Brown
and able
needed-
to play in an NFL football game at 100% are two entirely different things.
Check this out. Brown needed before he left, he needed 8 receptions, right? And 55 yards and 1 touchdown to get $1 million. That's it.
That answers that question.
55 yards. Okay.
Me
1
too.
touchdown, which Brady would get him the touchdown. Okay. And 8 receptions before he left that game.
And he said
And
he
when
had a
did he
game.
leave the game?
He had a game and a half. He left the third quarter, so he had a game and a half.
And let me
to
ask
do
you a
it.
question. His ankle didn't look so bad when he was doing jumping jacks leaving the game.
Like I said, to be able to run off the field is way different from being able to push off on routes in an NFL football game. And you guys all know this. You've all played football. You know that to go out there at less than 100%, you're just increasing your risk of hurting yourself worse. And again, these are the players have to look out for their own interests here.
I get it. Byron doesn't like him. He doesn't like Arians now either. I think I don't know. I
don't like him.
I don't think they were asking him. Maybe you're right, Joe. I never looked at it that way, right? If a guy says he can't play or whatever. But Byron, you've played, right? When coaches tell you to go in, right?
Go in.
They
Yeah, but
tell
when
you
you
to
have
go
a
in,
guy,
you go in.
yeah,
right?
but when you have a guy that 4 different teams, it's not just this is the first time.
Yeah.
You got the Steelers, you got the Raiders, you got the Patriots, and you got this. Okay, is it him or is there something wrong with these teams? It's one or the other. It's 4 times.
I totally agree that you have to bring his past into consideration, but you don't do that on the sideline during a game. You do that after the game. Yeah. You acknowledge, you take what he tells you at face value, and you deal with it in the locker room after the game. Arians handled that just as well. I'm not defending Antonio Brown. He's a domestic abuser. He's a piece of crap. He's a nutcase. He should have been out of the league 3 times before. But you have to set all that aside in that moment when the guy tells you that he's injured. That's all I'm saying. And
Andre or John?
I got nothing.
I think at halftime is when you say that you got a problem.
Yeah. And that also comes into it too, is that my feeling is that he wanted the money before they went into halftime. He wanted something guaranteed by the end of the game. And he still had a game and a half to go where Tom would have got him his money. So, but, I played injured. I played hurt. And, I regret it now. But, you can't push off. And, jogging to the sideline, after a play and then, going back out and trying to push off and, make a cut on the route, it's very difficult to do. So I'm not making excuses for him. I agree. He should have been out of the league a while ago, just because he needs help. I'm not going to talk about domestic violence. I don't know that much about that whole thing, but dude needs help, and no one's given to him. Brady keeps dragging him along to where he can make Brady look good, and that's pathological, if you ask me.
And he dogged Brady.
Yeah.
Byron was been happy that he talked
man leaving his house.
Yeah. I don't. And once again, Brady's the guy that has looked after him for the last 2 teams. You turn against someone that's done that for you, and there's no coming back. I'm sorry, man. I've cut people out of my life for a lot less than that. But I'm a bitter person, but we all know that about me.
And Brady was nothing but cordial about, hey, I hope he's okay. Look, to what you were saying, Joe gave me another thing to think about. I think you're right about a player, but I think Byron's also right that this historically he's been a adversarial type player that as it's almost like asking as a coach, are you hurt or are you injured? Right? Yeah. I mean, coaches ask you that. There's no confusion what they're asking you, right?
Well, and
So-
he's
so,
been
so when he's saying, look, I need you to go back in, and he's like, well, I can't go back in because of this and that or whatever. And meanwhile, he was asking for some guarantees prior to the game, right? And then to come out against Brady the way he did, and then for Brady to mention the fact that, hey, Antonio, we should pray for him. Maybe he's got some things going on. There had to be something else there
Yeah.
for Brady to say that, because he's not going to pull that out of a hat and
right.
just start mentioning that. Something was
It's
happening leading
He's
up
thought
to
about
that
it for a
game.
while.
He saw it because Brady
Yeah.
if not would have defended him really fast.
And
Yeah.
Brady's not the kind of guy to make those comments loosely either. Like, he's pretty guarded about locker room stuff. So I agree with all that. I agree that Antonio Brown is a terrible teammate. But again, in that one particular moment, when he's telling the coach that he can't play, you have to accept that. And
Yeah.
whatever happened around that, I understand why it happened. I still think it's wrong. And I think Arians is getting the appropriate amount of criticism for what he did. And I wish more people were seeing Brown, and I hate to say this again, because he's a piece of crap, but I wish more people were seeing him in a slightly more sympathetic light. And again, I can't believe I'm saying that. I wish more people were reacting like Brady did. And
Well, one of the things we talked about a couple months ago is mental health and the stigma that surrounds it. And I think he's kind of, right, wrong, or indifferent. He's kind of the model of someone who needs help. We can, comment on, he did this wrong, he shouldn't have done that. But, if Tom Brady, if you think about it, Tom Brady is someone who's known him this long, someone who knows him. This is something obviously Tom's been practicing in his head because he knew this was eventually going to happen. And I've seen it happen with addicts and all that stuff all my life, where you get to the point where it's going to happen and you already have your response ready to go. And I think that's all that Tom did because he knew this was going to happen.
And it seems like the NFL is always kind of behind and underprepared when it comes to this stuff. Like we see in the NBA, a lot of teams have mental health counselors on staff now, and the NBA does seem to do a much better job reacting to instances when players have these issues. The NFL has always been kind of behind things in this respect.
Hey guys, I'm sorry, I got to jump off.
No, we're about to end now.
Okay.
So, I just want to, I want to thank you guys. Andres, John, Joe, you want to tell us about your show? When's your show?
Yeah, I'm on the Sports Plus show. We air Saturday mornings, 11 o'clock Eastern on valleyfreeradio.org. We're also available anywhere you can find a podcast. And I'm also covering the Trailblazers now at ripcityproject.com. So check that out.
All right.
Oh, awesome. John, I really appreciate you coming. Hopefully your Denver will come around.
Hey,
And,
it's hockey season, my friends.
it's hockey season. All right, great. Andres, I know you got a lot of things going on. So if anyone want to reach out to you,
Hockey season ends in 2 weeks.
Byron, as always, you didn't have to ring the bell so much as you should have today. That's all right.
I thought he was being nice.
We have to get him an air horn.
That's where you
I'm one of those
get
too.
it. That's where you get a demerit from me, John. Byron's a big guy. He don't need no defense.
No, but what I'm saying is I thought he was being very kind a couple of times where he probably could have rang it.
He's doing it again. There
He was looking
again.
after Vic. He was looking after you. He was looking after you.
All right, well, let's end it with the Gary Sinise Foundation, which we always talk about. I want to thank everybody who served for us in the military, particularly in this case, Byron and Andres have served. My family has served, and I want to thank you guys. Gary Sinise Foundation, please. It's for it's for first offenders, and it's for the military. And we need as much as we can. Freedom and security are precious gifts that we as Americans should never take for granted. We must do all that we can to extend our hands in times of need to those who willingly sacrifice each day to provide that freedom and security. While we can never do enough to show the gratitude to our nation's defenders, we can always do a little bit more. Gary Sinise. Gary Sinise, that's SINISE Foundation.org. please contribute. Byron, like Byron says, you know, I always say $1, $2, $3. Byron, what do you say? $10, $5,
$10,
$20.
$50, your firstborn.
Put your money. Hey, wait, that tomahawk. By the way, I might be flying, so hold on that tomahawk.
Oh,
Steak,
man, let it go,
please.
man. It's going to be killing me.
No, why? Don't let it go. You owe that to Mark. Gentlemen, I want to say thank you. Every Thursday we're here. Please, you know, we will send this back out to you. I don't know. Do you guys get the links when we have these shows?
I just pulled up on YouTube.
Okay. If anything,
Yeah.
we'll make sure we send them out to you. Share them on the show. Joe as well. You always guys are always welcome on our show. We got some good stuff coming up. You know, it's going to be an interesting season. Don't forget, Joe. You called me and Byron Dumbos for our picks against the 49ers. I still believe
Fly,
49ers.
Eagles, fly.
Now, I don't care about the Eagles, but I care about the 49ers going to win that game.
I don't know if,
right now.
I don't know if Dumbos was the word, but I think you're wrong. And I'll come back. I'll come back next week.
I can't wait till next week, guys.
It was something that wasn't Dumbos, but it was the word dumb.
Eagles,
The dumb was in there. That's all I know.
It was in there somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't derogatory. It was just
Fly, Eagles.
I just want to remind you, like Eagles, I want to see the Cowboys get crushed. And remember, they're 3-7 in the playoffs. So, guys, have a good night. Thank you again. Welcome to Jersey Boy Sports Talk. Please let everybody know to download our. Please share the show with your friends on your Facebook, on your channels. Have them to subscribe. You know that helps us out tremendously. And it's nice to you know, these things for our lifetimes as we get older memorializes us. So we always have a good show. So thank you again. And I really appreciate you guys spending the time on Thursday night.
Fly, Eagles, fly. Fly.
Love it.
Okay.
All right,
bye.
guys.
Thanks,
Good night.
guys.